Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Springtime is officially here, which means it's time to start planting those gardens, getting those garden beds prepared. Here in the south, we're starting to get those plants in the ground now that our chance of frost is really diminished. One of the biggest tools you can have, though, is a greenhouse. So you can get your plants started a little bit earlier, have them further along for when they actually go into the ground. Now, making a greenhouse can require a lot of space, and it can be very expensive to build or to purchase one. But today I'm going to show you a way that you can have your very own mini greenhouse for free or almost free. Now, everyone encounters something like this almost every day. It's a single-use plastic container. It's really a shame that we can't reuse more of this stuff, but today we're going to show you how to turn this, which would only be used once traditionally, into a multi-use thing, being your mini greenhouse. Let's get into it. Now, you don't have to, but I like to make my own potting soil considering I've got a decent amount of resources here. So I'm just getting some dirt just from the ground here, from the field area that we're utilizing. And then we're gonna mix in some other ingredients to make it really nice for the plants that we're gonna be putting in here. Really encourage them to grow big and leafy. Another ingredient I like to use in this homemade potting soil is this blood meal. It's gonna be very high in nitrogen, as you can see on the back. Now, this is a very natural blood meal. You can find organic or natural. And it also is part of the recycling process in a way. It takes the leftovers from slaughter that would usually be waste and turns it into an effective fertilizer. So we're just gonna get it here. So we get this grainy texture, just kind of like grains of sand. And we're just gonna sprinkle that in. And that's just about enough for this a pot this size. You don't want to put too much and overwhelm your seeds with nitrogen. My final ingredient in my homemade potting soil is this black cow manure. Get a good handful of that, and then we're just gonna mix it in with the rest of our ingredients here. And we'll get back to you when we're about ready to plant. I'm planting some spinach seeds. I know I'm a little bit late on planting these seeds. Spinach usually started a little bit earlier in my zone, but I planted some in the ground earlier and they didn't really come up very well. So I'm going to try them in this greenhouse and see if there's better difference. I did plant some corn in this same container and it came up really well. And I think I have a couple of shots for you of that later on. All right, now that we've got our potting soil ready to go, we're going to go ahead and plant our seeds. Now, spinach can go fairly close together, and then we'll see how they do in this environment. I'm just going to kind of spread them out. I know it's not a very precise seed placement. We're going to be transplanting them later. There we go. Then maybe we can have some nice spinach for our salads later on. Probably about, I think the harvest date was about a month from now. So maybe a month from now I'll have some good harvest on that. And this, you can tell it's kind of muddy already because I already moistened up the soil with the watering can here and got it ready to go. Now here's a look at what the corn looked like and some of the other creative greenhouses that you can come up with. Now here is some corn that I've been growing in this mini greenhouse. And it's about ready to go into the ground because the lid is kind of pressing down on the leaves. And here are some more of our experimental greenhouses. This is something my mom came up with. These are tomato plants inside here. And it's just plastic cling wrap and some metal from wire clothes hangers that are going up. And so far these have been working all right. The tomatoes have been growing, and we're gonna see if they work out as well as the container greenhouses have. Here are our corn plants on the ground, and it looks like they're doing good. They've been planted for about a day now, and they're still going strong. Now, I'm not the first person to come up with this idea for a mini greenhouse using old single-use containers, and there are a lot of other creative ideas of mini greenhouses that you can use. Bottom line is that you can garden if you are creative enough to, and if you want to grow your own food. There's a lot of opportunities to be creative and do that. Also, with these little containers, you want to make sure that you transplant them once your plant outgrows them. Now, I made a mistake early on where there was some plants that had grown to their limit in their containers, but I left them a little too long because it was still cold outside. Probably because I sowed them in the container a little too early, and those plants wound up dying because they were just too confined where they were, and it was too cold for them to go outside already. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked it, please give it a good thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this in my upcoming video on my baby chicks that we just got last week. Thanks, guys. See ya.